6 years have gone by. It's a new slate. I can't even make fun of people being out of character because 6 years has gone by. Who knows what's happened to the character in 6 years? It's like a soft reboot without any of the main characters, like they did in Fear the Walking Dead. Like they did in Fear the Walking Dead? Hit the button. Let's get started. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generations X, Y, and Z inside Davis Manor, where we find humor and horror. And if this is your first time visiting, this is where I share my love of horror and entertainment. I talk about TV shows, I talk about movies, I talk about my time in the haunt industry. So if that sounds like it might be your thing, make sure you click the subscribe button by the end of the video. But before I break down episode 6 of season 9, titled, Who Are You Now? From The Walking Dead, here on Walker Wednesdays, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the episode, as I thank all the patrons of the channel, since they are the reason why these videos are getting uploaded. This gang right here are the awesome patrons of the channel. If you want to be part of the team by voting on future projects, help be part of the creative process, get behind the scenes access with me, or if you just like the channel and my face and want to see me continue to upload more videos, then consider being a patron by clicking the link above. And there are links at the end of the video and in the description box below. Also, depending on the tier that you select, you could be rewarded with merchandise as well. So check out all the tiers, check out the goals that are coming up. We are very close to getting the next goal done. And who knows, your pledge might be putting us over. Getting into this episode, we begin with hearing and seeing Michonne monologue. Well, I mean, Rick is gone now, so somebody has to do it, right? And while she monologues to what we can assume is a departed Rick shrine, we spot a cracked bedroom wall of Carol and Ezekiel that says, "At times we crack, only to let the light in." Then Michonne says that there are still flashes of light calling through the darkness, and we can see Carol witnessing a flower blossoming out of a crack in the pavement. Yeah, I get it. We all get it. Out of the darkness, there's lights. Out of the roadblocks, there's hope. Move on. Michonne continues to monologue, and then there is one scene that I really liked that happened. Daryl is about to kill a walker that is stuck to a tree, and he sees a bird take a worm out of the walker's flesh, fly up to the nest, and feed its babies. This is one of the best visual storytellings that I have seen come through The Walking Dead in a long time, and much better than that whole crack in the light flower thing that was going on. To have Daryl witness a new cycle of life, basically, working in the world. A walker that is providing food for insects, grubs, worms, things like that, that is then providing food for birds, and it just continues on. In the circle of life. Okay, so this episode is pretty tough to review. I'm not gonna lie. Not much happens in this episode. I mean, basically the episode is a whole new exposition dump. Why? Because it's been 6 years since the last episode. 6 years since the last episode. Not like we've waited 6 years, but that's the time jump. Not between seasons, between episodes. So let's take that into consideration for a moment. Let's have a little fun with math, why don't we? All right, the Walking Dead fan sites out there are saying that it's roughly around 627 days up until the end of Season 8. The Twitter account, the official AMC Walking Dead Twitter account, did a meme when they said like 632. I don't know if that was like legit or if they were just joking around, but let's just say 630 days for easy math. Dividing that by 365 days a year, okay, means that up until Season 8, the end of Season 8, it's been 1 3/4 years since Rick woke up in the zombie apocalypse. That is a lot of things that have happened in such a short amount of time. And I'm not talking about Carl's growth spurt. I'm talking about all the things that went down. All the storylines. Everything. It's crazy. So then another year and a half goes by from Season 8 through Season 9, because Negan says something like he's been in a cell for like a year and a half or whatever. So let's just round, okay, to 550 days for that. Easy math here. We're talking about 1,180 days now, up to where we are before this big time jump. Now, okay, 6 years is 2,190 days. Roughly 1,010 more days than what we've just seen. We'll round it up to 2,200, okay, for this. Easy math. Meaning that the span that has just happened from one episode to the next, that time jump has been 3.5 times 3.5 times longer than the first 8 seasons. Think about that. That means about 28 seasons of The Walking Dead have passed, if you want to go with averaging that out. 28 seasons. That's a huge amount of time. A lot of things could have happened. What has happened? What have we seen from the last episode to this? People's hair got longer. That's about it. Eugene's mullet went from mullet to ponytail. And Carol looks like she's in some kind of Dungeons and Dragons live-action role-playing group. I don't know. I'm not judging. I like the look. But that's about it. Aaron has a prosthetic arm now instead of a stump. Michonne has a baby named RJ, which I can only assume is Rick Jr., and she's got an X on her back, too. You would think that now, hypothetically, we are currently in season 37 on time span-wise. You know, some serious stuff would have went down. Some serious things would have happened to the cast. Physically changed. Some of them would have died. You wouldn't have seen them around anymore. And that would have been great, just to see people go, okay? And just kind of allude to what has happened, you know? Make things intriguing somehow. Dare I say, use flashbacks later on. And then we all know that they love flashbacks in The Walking Dead. But, I mean, we haven't seen Enid yet. And we haven't seen Alden, the savior with the heart of gold. We haven't seen Tara, and we haven't seen Maggie yet, which I find amazing, because one would think that Maggie would have ended up in an episode called Who Are You Now? Because we have no idea what she's like anymore. She's just off the rails. At any rate, still, some of these characters could have just died off, because that would have fixed the bloated cast budget. Then, you could have taken some of that money and put it into writing. Put it into special effects. Put it into something else. There are some character developments, if you want to call them character developments. Daryl lives out in the woods all by himself, like he's one of Robin Hood's merry men. But he's not that merry. Carol has taken a leadership role in the kingdom as queen, and Portrait of a Serial Killer Henry, who is now played by a new actor, looks like he's going to be taking some of Carl's roles and wants to learn to be a blacksmith and help build the new world. Michonne has had some great development because she is now head of security inside Alexandria. You know, the title that she was given by Deanna. How many years ago?
Who's Deanna?
Yeah, and I bet you there is no mention of her in the Alexandrian history books. I'm sure it's all about Rick instead. So yeah, that's about it. Oh, I forgot. Father Gabriel and Rosita are apparently a thing now. Why, I have no idea. So, let's get into the new crew here, okay? The 5 new people that were added to the cast because, you know, we need to have more people on this show. And I have a problem. Of course I have a problem with the way that they were brought into this story. They were basically running defenseless when they were miraculously saved by Judith shooting her dad's revolver from long range. And I don't care that it's basically impossible to pull off a long-range shot with a revolver. I don't mind that Judith wasn't knocked down by the sheer power of the, what is it, a Colt Python revolver? She could have gotten used to it by, you know, using it enough times. I do, however, mind that this group, which has stated that they've been in many communities now, have been doing this for their own 37 seasons, basically. Why are they so inept? Where are their battle scars? This makes no sense whatsoever. To have a world of stragglers that are useless like Eugene still making it out on their own, like 8 to 10 years into the zombie apocalypse, right now this world should be filled with Carols, Daryls, Ricks, and Michonnes. Everybody else should be dead. And speaking of the dead, don't after a while these walkers die of starvation, or at least decomposing? I mean, you would think 10 years of walking around decomposing, the dead would be minimal by now. They just fall apart. Muscle and bone can't keep them together that long. Almost a decade of you rotting and stammering around. There is no way that you are a threat by now. At least this is the way I think. By this time, everybody in the universe should know that when you die, you reanimate. And you need to have a brain injury to not reanimate. So when someone dies in a community, they go ahead and poke the brain to make sure that somebody doesn't reanimate. That means there's a lot less walkers around. There should be a lot less walkers in this universe by now. And I might be, you might just say, Andrew, you need to suspend your disbelief a little bit more. No, I'm not, because The Walking Dead has shown in their shows how the body decomposes with time and how they've decomposed in different scenarios, whether it's in water or whatnot. If you're going to go ahead and show me that and make that part of your canon, I'm going to judge you on the fact that this is now like 10 years into the zombie apocalypse, and a 10-year-old zombie walking around would not function anymore. It would starve, it would fall apart, it would not be able to walk on its own weight, on its own feet anymore. Yeah, I might be looking into this a little bit too deep, but you are the one that made the canon. So let's move on. I will say there's some highlights of the show, as in like story-wise. You got Eugene trying to get a radio signal up between the communities, per Gabriel's request, and the new crew isn't going to stay at Alexandria, per Michonne's request. So they're going to go to Hilltop, and probably they'll be there in the next episode. Also, I find it amazing that the bridge that Rick wanted to build so society could continue and bring the community together was never built after he blew it up, saving everybody. You would have thought that they would have built it and called it the Grimes Memorial Bridge or something. No, I will say this, I enjoy the acting of Kaylee Fleming, who plays Judith Grimes. I think she is a great young actor. I think she is doing the character justice. I like the way that the character is going. Though I will say, I think that there's going to be a Clementine feel about Judith Grimes. And if you don't know who Clementine is, Clementine was a character that was in the Telltale Walking Dead game. And I enjoyed the banter between Judith and Negan in this episode. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Kaylee Fleming look like they got a good acting chemistry between them, and I do hope to see more of that. Carol once again showed her, quite frankly, most terrifying side again. We haven't seen her so ruthless in a quiet demeanor since the episode The Same Boat, which was episode 13 of season 6. And I love that episode, which happened to be written by Angela Kang. I really do like Carol. I love the way that the character has grown. I think Melissa McBride does an excellent job. I actually would like to see her as the lead of the show. I wouldn't mind at all. I'm a little bit worried that Judith is going to be the lead of the show, because that's a lot of weight to put on an actor, let alone an actor as young as Kaylee. And speaking of Kaylee, her scene with Michonne, Denai, Judith mentions that she is forgetting Rick and Carl in a scene. Let me play it real quick.
I'm starting to forget their voices. I'm not trying to, but they keep fading away. I hope you can still hear them.
Well, let me help. They sounded like this. Dad? Carl! But really, the scene there is an emotional scene. And I think she does a great job interacting with some of the actors. There, Kaylee, I've got high hopes for you. Good luck. So the episode ends with Eugene and Rosita hiding from the herd, only to hear the sentences, "Where are they? They must be close, and don't let them get away." There is no doubt in my mind that Eugene and Rosita apparently think that the walkers are evolving, but we all know that they are the Whisperers. And I can't wait to see what happens in the Whisperer War, but it probably isn't going to happen in this season. It might happen next season. You know what? That will be the question of the day. When do you think the Whisperer War is going to start? Leave a comment down below. Also, tell me, do you think they're going to get Negan involved? He was pretty involved in the comics. Is he going to be involved in the TV show? Or is he just going to sit in the jail cell? Is he going to be like the Hannibal Lecter of The Walking Dead, just going to sit there and eat his sandwiches and talk to Judith? I don't know. Anyways, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet already, go ahead and hit that. Make sure you click the bell icon so you get notified the moment that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.